Well, a man who police accuse of going on a 2-day violent shooting and carjacking rampage is now in custody, but his alleged crimes have left one person in life-threatening condition. CP24's Courtney Heels joins us live from Toronto Police 51 Division with the latest on this story. Courtney.
And Jamie, the details of this are just terrifying. I mean, we know provincial police have been looking for the suspect for the last couple of days. They put out a warning saying he was armed and dangerous after he was seen shooting on the 401 in the Mississauga area early Tuesday morning. Yesterday, we know Toronto police called to downtown in the Dundas area over reports of another carjacking and someone who was shot. And what we heard from police, they say the suspect in that case has been arrested, Troy Ledrew. Again, this is the 29-year-old individual that Toronto police and provincial police were very concerned about given his behavior. In that case, one person was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries. So Ledrew still in police custody. I want to bring in Clayton Campbell. He's with the Toronto Police Association. You're the president. Obviously, this is very, very alarming for members of the public, for members of the police, but you also have some more details on the suspect in this case. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we do. He has a history of violence. He's currently on bail and probation. Not surprisingly, also has a firearm prohibition. So it's one of these things, again, where our members are so frustrated where we see people involved in violent offenses released from custody time and time again. And one of our officers actually was the victim of the incident on the 401 2 days ago. And he's reached out to me and taken the unprecedented step to say, let the public know even a highly decorated senior police officer can be a victim of a shooting. His car was hit with a round. Thank God he's okay.
Yeah. Okay, there's a lot for our audience to unpack here. So let's go back to the fact that he was out on bail. This is what you're hearing from your members and how concerning that is. And you speak to your level of frustration because this isn't the first time we've heard something like this.
It is time and time again. We are so frustrated. Our members are so frustrated with what's going on at the federal level. We continue to lobby. I'll continue to talk about it at every opportunity I have. But when we see somebody out on bail for a violent offense, on probation for a violent offense, in possession of an illegal firearm with a huge magazine, that he's shooting somebody in the streets of Toronto. Thank God the other person wasn't hit. And our thoughts are with the person that's in the hospital. But again, hopefully he's not let out of custody, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Mm-hmm. And then back to Tuesday night, and we have some video. Hopefully we can roll that now. It shows, how concerning this would be for anybody out on the highway at that time. This was early in the morning in the Mississauga area, people commuting to work, and you see this suspect armed with a gun going toward cars, and you say one of Toronto Police's officers, an off-duty officer at the time, was in the middle of all this. How is that officer doing, and what did he tell you about what he saw?
He's doing okay. And it's unprecedented. Police officers generally want to stay private, right? Especially with their own personal lives. And he reached out to me today and said, tell my story. Can you imagine the fear for a police officer, not alone a member of the public, to see someone walking down the highway with a gun, firing rounds? And his car was only hit, thank God, but this person's shooting a gun, an illegal gun, on the highway, and then 2 days later to come into the streets of Toronto and cause havoc like this person should never be let out of custody. Never be let out of custody and kept in custody until their trial. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I know the citizens are fearful. Both our members and the citizens want the same thing. We want healthy and safe communities where people can go about their daily lives without the fear of this type of violence.
My last question, have you ever heard anything like this before? I mean, it is all so brazen and terrifying, the fact that this guy seems to have gone on a rampage on the highway when people were commuting to work. And then downtown Toronto, I mean, this happened at 7 o'clock at night when people are driving home from work. Kids are out going to community programs. Have you heard of anything like this?
Unfortunately, we see this often. A few weeks ago, we had upwards of 100 rounds fired. It was in the evening, but still 100 rounds fired, where 16 firearms were seized. Again, all unlawful. The gun bans are clearly not working. So it does happen. And that's why it's important for me and the police service to always come out and talk about this. We don't want this to become kind of the public being numb to this. We need to keep highlighting it.
Clayton, thank you so much for your time, sir. Clayton Campbell is the Toronto Police Association president, obviously sharing some frustration with these new details we've learned. The accused, this 29-year-old suspect, out on bail when all of this happened over the last couple of days. We do know Ledrew, Troy Ledrew, this is the 29-year-old we're talking about, is in custody at this time, Jamie. He is expected to make a court appearance later on this morning. We also know he'll be facing a number of charges given what he's accused of, but we don't know what those charges are yet. I am in touch with provincial police and Toronto police to find out more details on that. As soon as we have it, we will share that with you. Over to you.
Thanks for that report, Courtney.